quarantine experience at first was scary.
Since you're by yourself for like a long period, you start to feel like overwhelmed because like you're alone.
Very sad and stressful for me because something had happened.
Barely leave my house. I didn't even go to like any of my classes.
Online school was, I couldn't talk to my friends or anything, so that means, you couldn't go out, couldn't do anything. They had just worrying about what the world's gonna change to me as a person. Just a lot of chaos.
Mysterious pneumonia outbreak in Wuhan, China.
A new type of coronavirus.
The number of affected countries has tripled.
The World Health Organization has just declared that this is a pandemic.
I think it's safe to say that 2020 has definitely been a year. I remember it like it was yesterday. It felt as though my life was being taken away from me.
My name is Ali Reyes-Smith, and I am a mental health youth ambassador. In my opinion, the pandemic made the youth less human because we're more dependent on social media instead of real life relationships and in-person conversations, that we basically depend so much on social media to tell us who we are and basically make us dependent on the perception of, well, who others expect us to be. Something that I would have suggested to get through is taking time for yourself, and people need to understand that it's okay to be selfish. It's okay to care about yourself once in a while, and it's okay to take a break and relax, and I feel like that's what the pandemic did, and it gave us a chance to do that. But so much reflection and so much time alone just made us hate who we are more and just dependent on that loneliness. Online school definitely added a lot of stress to people who are more of writers or people who are more visual learners. Instead of not being in person with the teacher, you were there sitting on and on for hours at a time on a Zoom call, and it got boring. And I felt like a lot of teens were just either cheating or they weren't putting in as much effort as they usually would. You're not alone. There are people out there to help you, and there are the resources to help you if you are in need. If anyone would like to talk to me in particular, I'm Ali Reyes-Smith. You can always contact me or the Alex Panton Foundation for more information. Thank you.
My name is Heather Ketterer. I'm a school counselor at PsychBag. At PsychBag, there's many things that I do. One of the first and foremost things that I do is that I work with the students, whether it is by them coming and referring themselves to me, or if the teachers are having some concerns, then I will get some students, parents, and what I do in my session is all depending on the student. So some students come to me, they are having trouble at home, or they're having trouble with their friends or relationships, or something's happened in their personal life, whether it's grief or loss, drugs, alcohol, all different things. I try to help them with some strategies or coping skills, and if things are kind of out of my realm, then I will refer them outside to other professionals. The pandemic affected young teens in different ways. I don't think some had positive impact and some had negative impact. Some kids were not affected at all. I think every child or person had different ways of dealing with it. Some of the ways that, struggle some teenagers had was that being stuck in the house 24/7 was definitely difficult. To take all the things that were normal to us and take them away, that was difficult.
My name is Shannon Stewart. I'm a student at Cayman Islands Further Education Center, or SciFi. Quarantine is the day that my mental stability died, honestly. There was a lot of stuff happening, personal things that were happening at school before we were dismissed for the quarantine break. So that got me, it was like really emotional. I guess you could say it got worse around the time when we started online school. You know, because, you know, doing it over the computer, it was like super laggy. You couldn't see a lot of people, and it was just really hard to do it, especially when you were in the environment of where you would see your teacher and your fellow students. And I guess you could say that with all that happening, I didn't have a phone actually. I didn't, at that time my phone was confiscated, so I couldn't talk to any of my friends. I couldn't talk to like my grandparents or anything like that to check on them, see if they were okay. And I guess you could say that was when it really took a toll on me. Because as much as I love my family, my friends are my family. So not being able to talk to them every day as I used to was very problematic for me. I remember all the breakdowns, me crying, just so much, you know. With what happened at school and it came to home, my relationship with my mother was not well. It was horrible. I locked myself in my room a lot, so I guess you can say it kind of was like being locked in prison, but at the same time, I wanted to be like locked away because I just didn't want to talk to anybody. So before I had my friend group, I had all of them basically. My friend groups are separated into two, so it was kind of rocky, but I still had everybody in my life, so it was pretty happy. And afterwards, I guess you could say I kind of strayed from it, but not voluntarily. Yeah, taking a toll on me. You know, I don't like the thought of people leaving my life, and it was just so. It's really heartbreaking when, you know, sometimes I'll be on the bus going home, I can see them like at Burger King, laughing and smiling. I'm like, I wish I was there with them. There was a lot, just so much. Over quarantine, I had been seeing a therapist over Zoom. Anxiety, I was really bad, and to the point where I had to be prescribed medication, but she wanted me to be on a safer, healthier route to conquering it instead of just taking all these pills. I don't know how bad you had it. You probably had it worse than me, but don't give up. Honestly, don't, because I gave up, and it's not a good feeling to be in a world that you once thought was beautiful and had bright colors and all these beautiful animals and people, that's now turned into nothing but ashes and stray buildings. Stay hopeful. Keep faith in yourself and in everybody else in your life. Just faith in that. I don't know if it is going to get better, but I hope for you that it does. Alright, can we stop recording?
Yeah.
I believe this documentary was one of the best ideas I've ever had. After hearing everyone's voice, I believe that now that we know it's actually a problem here, that we'll work together to figure it out. After all this, after all we've been through, we are stronger and better together. Don't put yourself down. Don't be ashamed of who you are. Don't think that you're alone, because you're not. And it's safe to say that 2020 hasn't been the best by this year happening, I feel like Cayman as a whole will be stronger if we work together. Where you're not alone in anything. We have each other. Did we get that?
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, that's a wrap.